Welcome to Catch Her Spark with Jen Maldonado. These are conversations with women who are building meaningful careers, stepping into leadership, and designing life on their own.
Welcome, everyone. I have a very special guest today. And the reason why I say that is some businesses, that they start with a product. Other businesses start with a feeling, a need for connection, for expression, for being in a space where you don't have to explain who you are, right? And what started as an online gallery evolved into something much bigger. Girl Flock Party. It's a women's network built around creativity, mentorship, and community. The kind of places I love. Not just events, but spaces where women come together, collaborate, and support each other's growth. Does that sound familiar, girls? And of course, over time, they expand into initiatives like annual scholarship galas supporting women-owned businesses. And today, we're going to explore that with Melanie Allison and how she built something where people actually feel connected to what it takes to turn creativity into community and how spaces like this create real opportunities for women to grow. So welcome, Melanie. How are you today?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you, Jen.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us. I mean, communities bring a special spark, especially communities of women. And I think that other women need to hear what you're doing out there. Can you tell us more about your network?
Definitely. Hi, I'm Melanie, and Girl Flock Party initially started because I am an artist, and first and foremost, I promote myself, and needed to find ways to find support, and so I created my own online gallery, and then from there, I was like, well, I want to help others in my position. It started in 2019 as a dinner in my home, and I had all friends from different avenues in my life, book club, my workout group, etc. And they all had something to contribute and intermix with the rest of the gang. So I brought those ladies into my house, and I said, "This is so fun. I love seeing connections happen." And I was like, let's do this again next year. Well, then the pandemic hit and we had to do things virtually. Going from there, I think it was 2022. Yes. I decided let's expand this from my personal network to basically the Austin Metroplex. And so we renamed and rebranded as Girl Flock Party. And we had our first big annual celebration at the cathedral with like over 100 women. And from there, it just turned into a successful Facebook group where we do social events each month, etc. I like to keep it small, but it is something bigger than itself than I ever expected.
Oh, well, good things grow like that, Melanie.
Definitely. I know. I watered it and it grew. It's all great.
Yes, I mean, I can imagine. This is amazing. I mean, this is something putting a community together that aligns and connect takes a lot of work. What have been your experience helping people actually feel connected on this community?
I pride myself as I joke like that I'm like the personality hire slash I'm a golden retriever. So when people come to my events, I'm running around, I'm saying hi. If you're a wallflower, you won't be anymore because I make you feel included. I make sure my girls make you feel included. Um, it's just a welcoming space. I'm a hugger. I am very like embrace of everybody, and I always say hashtag no mean girls allowed. We're
I
done with
love
high school, right? We're done with high school, so just be you and have fun and be respectful, but like yeah, like just be inclusive. And I think that's what has made this community what it is. And just to note on that one more. Uh, I was told that if I ever decided to step down or pass the baton, it wouldn't be Girl Flock Party anymore because, and not to toot my own horn, but it really made me realize that this group is because of me and my personality and my empathy and etc. Is just it's based off of everything that I pride myself on as me as a person.
Yeah, so we need to create them more little Melanies. Sprinkle Melanies around the community. The communities are the results of the leaders. And if it feels warm, it feels welcoming, you can expect that that's who the leader is. And I love that. And it just made me ask a few questions, like for example, do you think people are craving connection more than opportunity right now?
Wow, that is a great question. Um, I think to get to opportunity, you need to have connection, and they're craving that connection. And I also say that as a woman, but also as an adult female, it is harder to maintain friendships. They become seasonal. Um, there's people past and present, and they come and go. So finding that group that you can come in, be yourself, rely on. Um, I think that's the most important where we are today is just finding like-minded women. And from there, that's where you can start talking and relying on them to find those opportunities. So I feel connection is the most important, especially, yeah, you definitely have to vibe with people. Um, like I said, I don't vibe with mean girls. I don't do that. So I feel like you have to vibe with the group and feel comfortable. Is if you don't feel comfortable, you're going to clam up and you're going to shy away or retreat. And I make sure to like again make you feel welcome, and that would not be an issue.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, when people feel that they belong, that they're not judged, that they can be themselves, it allows
Mm-hmm.
to actually bring the best of them to show up for the group, for the people, for the community. And that creates some kind of magic, right? So I love
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, you have that touch. I can see that in you right away. And um, do do you think that most people get wrong? Let me rephrase that. What do most people get wrong about networking?
Oh, Um, that's a great question as well. I feel like the most complaints I've heard is just being too businessy, too stuffy, too clicky. Sometimes women don't want to be around a bunch of men. So that's why I specialize in just this being a
Yes.
female group where they feel safe. I mean, I just had a huge morning coffee and connections last Friday, and I listened to some of the women, and some of them said like sometimes being in those mixer type um, networking events to start my vibe. Sometimes they feel dominated or looked over. They don't feel like they can have the floor or share. So again, I think it's just the vibe, and I create a safe, comfortable vibe where we can laugh and be ourselves. And I think just not having cliques, and not being mean girls or basically just, being too businessy. Because again, I say that Girl Flock's not just about women in business. Not everybody is a person in business. Maybe you're looking to find something like a brand. I love sharing and showcasing brands that either support small business or, women in business. And or these small businesses themselves. I love promoting women in business around town, and that's why I prefer to have like my social events at these particular places so that we can shine a light on them. If they get to experience the business themselves, they get some business from us with the tickets of having the event there. So yeah, I hate that that was long winded, but I just think that we've got to not be. I'm not. I always think of the Joker. Why so serious, right? Like I think when people are serious and have that non-approachable face, their body language, things like this, that just doesn't, it's not inviting. And if you want someone to be able to, talk about themselves or their business, they got to feel comfortable first. And if they don't feel that way by do a scanning of the room,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. And they probably won't be back.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so true. I have seen that happen in so many communities where if they don't meet, right, the requirements behind the scenes, that they don't see like any more personality vibe, they don't normally come back. And sometimes that's exactly what you want, right? Because you want to protect the environment, the community, especially if you want to make it feel safe and supportive. um,
Hmm.
in the business world, we're still competitive, but
Yep.
there's a healthy level of competition, especially amongst women, where we can
Yep.
really enhance our businesses together. And that creates a very different dynamic. And, it makes people say, I want to be there, or I don't want to be there at all. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, what do you think it makes someone feel like they belong in a room versus feel like an outsider?
Like the person themselves,
Hmm.
like if they feel like an outsider. I mean, I'm very aware, and I feel like a lot more people these days need to be aware, be more self-aware. Um, I feel like I'm pretty good at gauging and kind of watching the room, and if I see somebody kind of withdrawing and sitting back, maybe they're not sure how to interject and join a conversation. I always like to be that outlet. So, like let's say last Friday when we had our coffee and connections,
Hmm.
I noticed somebody was just sitting there by themselves while I'm over there hugging all the regulars, right? But there was a handful of new people. And I
Yeah.
don't want the new people to feel like, oh, well, this group's pretty established. Maybe I don't need to be here. That's not how it goes. Not with me around, not with the golden retriever. So I come over there and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And or hey, since you do this, it might be great to come over here and talk to this person, and I introduce them. Uh, like I said, I love doing that because if somebody doesn't do that, some people maybe don't have the personality or the skill set to know how to approach people. Let me tell you, when I was in high school, I was the quietest, shyest person you would ever meet. And at my 10-year high school reunion, I was working that room. And people were like, who is this person? People change, people evolve,
Yes.
people learn and observe. And I feel like when you're in a group setting like that, where you can observe how people are just smiling and laughing and happy, that's approachable. And so I love doing that. And I think that's the best way to kind of like know where you fit. Now, some
Hmm.
people, if they are too shy or if that's too much, and I am too much, maybe I am too much for people. Um, that is something maybe I need to think about because, do you tone it down? Do you still be yourself? I don't know, but all I know is I don't want you to feel like trapped or yeah, not overlooked. I don't like that. Everything I've ever done in my career, in my life, is giving somebody an opportunity, giving the underdog an opportunity.
Yeah.
I had a magazine that I ran for 2 years because I kept getting rejected as
Hmm.
an artist and as a model, and I was like, I'm gonna make my own. So I made my own magazine, and it was successful. And
I
I
love
made
it.
sure to let everybody submit and submit their work. People that had never been published before, they can say now I was published. Here's my tear sheet. Check it out. I was in Bevy magazine. I feel like that's why I did this group so that I could be more local instead of international,
Yeah.
just to make more of an impact in my community.
Oh, I love it. That landed heavily. Yes, it's supporting the underdog, giving them an opportunity to really show up, feel welcome, feel accepted, and you know, and in regards to rejection, instead of becoming a victim, finding a solution to your
Right.
problem, and your impact has been planting the seed for these other people that didn't have the choices you wish you had. And I think
Hmm.
that's what it makes the best communities.
I agree. I am not a gatekeeper when it comes to, helping other people. Sometimes people might not know where to go.
Hmm.
There's people that will put in the work, there's people that won't put in the work. Now, that is frustrating sometimes to me when I see people just wanting the shortcuts all the time
Oh
and
yeah.
not putting in the work. When there's people like me trailblazing for my, my younger siblings and my friends and everybody else that don't know what to do and how to go forward. But I will connect you again, Rolodex. I will connect people to whomever. I will give you the website. I will give you the resources you need, because I know what that's like. I've been on the other end, and I feel like I've been a fighter my whole life,
Wow. Yeah.
and I don't want someone to go through the same thing.
I love it. You're trying to paint the path
Hmm.
for these people. And I love what you mentioned this too, that you gotta put the work. No matter what it is, you gotta put the work. This is not easy for anybody, anything that you do. I think that there is a misconception out there that if you put me in the right room and I meet these people, things will happen magically.
Right.
It's not, you don't see what it takes to just do the first step and then continue. And what it gets interesting, it's every step of the way or every milestone, the path changes in different ways. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I am a big proponent to doing the research,
yeah.
doing the work, because if you're not, you're only hurting yourself with not knowing or gaining any knowledge out of it. Um, and again, I pride myself on just a lot of things in my life that I've had to teach myself.
Yeah.
And, but then, there's things that I want to tell others, this is how I did it. This,
Yeah.
this is where you go. Here's the resource. Here's the person to talk to you about it. Here's how you might want to email them or approach them, or, like, definitely give them the building blocks.
Mhm.
Um, but I do take note of who is trying and not trying.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that's main in my group though. Like in my group, we're all just scratching in each other's back. There's no competition. It's collaboration and community over competition. Um, but yeah, there are other people in the world that will just, you know, give me the answer right now. Give me the bait. Give me, like, and
Yeah.
I just as somebody that has put themselves through college and it's done every career job experience. Um, I I'm happy to say that at least I went through those experiences. I taught myself, and then now I can walk the walk and talk the talk and share with other people.
Yes. And I know actually you are sharing very soon because you have events coming too, right?
Yes.
Tell me more about the gala. What is the gala? What happens in the gala? I'm excited to hear about this.
Well, I love a good theme, and if some people might not like to dress up, I love a good theme. So this year, May 28th, is the wild card ball, and
Ooh.
we're not going to be playing casino, but it's going to have that showgirl casino vibe. And when I say wild card, I want you to feel comfortable in your own skin, but show up and show out by creating something wacky. It doesn't have to necessarily be branded as a Vegasy outfit. Like, bedazzle your jeans, put some brooches on your pants, wear a giant weird hat. I don't care. I want you to just be wild and be a wild card. Just be unique in yourself. The main mission of it is that we had already hit our $750 scholarship goal this
Wow.
past season. And I have to say that is all because of people that believe in GSP, that have donated to us. when we have social events, they have the opportunity to add to their ticket to go into scholarship fund. Businesses that have given some a portion of their proceeds has gone into this. And so we've already hit 750. We're at 766. So this is like, let's gamble per se, or let's double down, triple
Yeah.
down. And so this is our last fundraiser celebration of the season. And so the mission is to triple our scholarship goal. You can do that by certain ticket tiers or the sponsorship tier. We have 3 exclusive sponsorships that would contribute to that as well.
Wow, that is awesome. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question for you, because as women, we like to create an impact. Sometimes we invest, sometimes we donate, and things like that. From your perspective, right? Some women like to create different ways to create more income without having to work so hard. Because you being a very successful person, I don't know about your situation, but most of women, they ended being very successful, but also it comes with long hours and a lot of responsibility. What are
Absolutely.
your thoughts on how you can create income, right? Because some people say, yeah, I want to donate, but I don't have enough. Or, hey, I have enough, maybe I donate. But that income comes from investment like stocks, bonds, or real estate. What are your thoughts about creating income outside of work?
Oh, well, again, I'm all about a good side hustle.
Totally
I know
okay.
a lot of, yeah, I mean, I know so many women because of the pandemic started their own businesses
Oh, yeah.
to supplement their income during a hard time. And it's actually become their main bread and butter, or again, it's on the side of their normal 9 to 5. But it's finding something that's creative and fun for you and to share your skills. Like everybody that I know that have created a business out of that time, they figured out that this is my passion. This is what I love to do. Whether that's sewing or a t-shirt business or a lot of like catering, um, they figure out working with their hands,
Mhm.
no matter what comes of it, is like the best way to kind of make a passive income. It takes a lot of work because you're doing it in addition to your 9 to 5, but I feel like a lot of people will figure that out, and with the right resources to move on from the 9 to 5 grind into this, full time passion that you've created on the side. I honestly, I know so many women that have done that, and it makes me so happy and proud because I've watched the progress where they wanted to leave their 9 to 5 job and they just worked their butts off and they put themselves in a position to where now they are their own boss.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Love it. So, what is a conversation you wish more women were having but are not yet?
Oh man. Well, how much time do you have? No, I'm kidding.
This is like
I
unlimited.
clocking. I honestly think it. Sorry, I have the sniffles. I honestly think women need to just be more straightforward and honest, and not in a mean way, but communication is key. And I feel like kind of letting walls down and being approachable and being more of a resource. And again, like I said, we need to talk about being more self-aware, you know, kind of look outside yourself and outside your bubble, um, giving back. But yeah, I feel like we need to talk more about reality, the hardships, anything like that, but in the background of like getting to where you need to be. I think everything looks like a facade sometimes, where it's all roses and money and success, and nobody truly talks about the problems that we need to find solutions to.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like that's kind of like where we post a reel or something, and I mean, I know all about marketing strategy. You got to have a problem to post, and like, how do we fix it? And that's how you get somebody to listen, hook them in. I think we need to just be out with it and talk about it a little more and be honest and open of what works and what doesn't work.
Yes, yeah, that's true. And women are really good problem solving and executing, not
We
only
sure are.
talking about it. When we really want to get something done, we do. And this is what I
Yeah.
love about this group. They're dangerous good.
Yeah, and the fact that women, we could do more than one thing at a time. We
Yeah,
are great multitaskers. Now, you don't want to drive yourself into the ground. I know that used to
yeah.
be like a bad word. Don't like multitasker was good, then I heard it was bad, but at the at the same time, like I feel like we can care and think about all the things and find solutions to them instead of just one thing at a time. So
Yeah.
I think we're great at that.
Yes, I was talking recently to a neuroplasticity expert, and she was telling how women have this capacity of look at the future consequences.
Hmm.
And I was trying to understand, I'm like, maybe that's the reason why we come up with so many ideas and angles on how we look at things, and we're more trained, right, to do multiple things at the same time. Now there is also a lot of pros and focusing in one thing, like normally like the male counterparts do, right? But
Hmm.
I think that both of them can be trained. But to your point, we're so trained in the achieving multiple things, looking at from different perspective that open opportunities for more solutions and more perspective that normally get a better outcome. Even in investing, we're better at investing. People don't know this, but the women who invest, thanks to their results, produce 20% more than the male counterparts. And it's like, so and it's interesting, and of course when they do, the male counterparts tend to do more bold decisions without
Yeah.
consequences, and when they win, they tend to win bigger. So I think that there's a good
Yeah.
balance between those two. But to your point, if we can look at the problem, not the symptom, and talk more about those problems, it's starting with communication with women, how we
Hmm.
communicate with other women, how do we communicate with other men too,
Hmm.
because that's the part that becomes very challenging. The style of communication is not only individual, there is, all the other factors that impact. So that's a great point, Melanie.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. What would you tell a woman who feels like she has outgrown her current environment but
Mm.
doesn't know where to go next?
Wow, you are coming with a great question. I mean, I could speak on this myself. If you can see that there's nowhere for you to go, like the opportunity will never come for you to move up. If it's looking more lateral per se, I honestly, I would just say I would probably find something in somewhere else. Life is too short to be miserable and sad or not challenged or happy in anything that you do. And if you don't see yourself going where you want to go, then I would start thinking of an exit strategy. And again, maybe looking to people that you know, your connections, your network, and find an opportunity where you think you'll be able to grow and thrive. Again, I've been in positions where I never was going to go anywhere, and I would be stuck. And as an Aquarius, as an artist, as a creative, as somebody that has their hands in all different types of projects, I can't be stifled. I can't. And I always find a way to be able And the best way to do that is your network. Honestly, I feel like things 10 years ago is not the same today. And I've had to have this talk with people in my personal life. The way you find jobs today or any other opportunity, it's who you know, who you're talking to, putting in again the work, doing the research. It's not a click and send situation anymore. Everything is so saturated out there right now. You've got to make an impression of who you are and why that person would want you. So you've got to advocate for yourself. And I wholeheartedly believe in that. And advocate for yourself and definitely make those connections. And that's, again, why I have this group, because I have a platform, a Facebook group with over 1,000 members, and people can post in there if they're looking for a job, if they're looking for a collaboration, if they need a vendor, if they need a sponsor, if they just want someone to go have coffee with. Like, I have that there so that can happen. And I have a really good friend that found her her job now that she's been at for several years, and she is so happy. And that makes me so happy that she did find this job through Girl Swap Party and connections that I knew of. So you got to do it. You got to put in the work.
You got to put the work. That's a strong. You got to put the work. You need to find solutions.
Raise your hand.
There you go. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. When questions arise, raise your hand.
You don't know if you don't ask. And I love proving people wrong with that all the time. I hate to say it, but my sweet husband's like, "Oh, don't go over there and ask." I go over there and ask. Guess what? Yeah, come on, let's go do. You can come do this, or you know what I mean? What's it gonna hurt? So you don't know if you don't ask. You might get rejected. You might get a no, but okay, dust off, move on. But most likely it'll probably be a yes. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. So, Melanie, I'm sad that we're getting to the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
But before we leave, can you tell people how they can connect with you?
Absolutely. I would love that more than anything. To get with Girl Flock Party events and to follow the flock, as we call ourselves, the best way is Instagram, which is instagram.com/Girl Flock Party. We have our Facebook group, so it's facebook.com/group/Girl Flock Party. And the most important of all, since we talked about the gala, it's the wildcardball.eventbrite.com. Get your ticket. Come have a wonderful time with us and make an impact in the community for at least three lucky recipients of our scholarship fund next fall.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Melanie, for sharing your wisdom, your story to inspire other women, and for continuing to planting seeds with all of these other women looking up to you and your network group. So,
thank you so much, Jen, for this opportunity and for having me on. I can't wait.
You've been listening to Catch Her Spark with Jen Maldonado, where bold women lead the way. Ready to share your spark? Apply to be a guest at catchherspark.com/guest.